This episode of the podcast is supported by Loon's Nest Coffee. They are closed for the season up the Gunflint Trail until late May 2026. You can still, of course, though, order coffee at loonsnest.coffee. You can get merchandise coffee there, have it shipped to the house right in time for the holiday season. Bob and the crew from Loon's Nest also want you to know they will be back at Canoecopia in Madison, Wisconsin, 2026. I know Bob was there in 2025 handing out coffee to people, talking about the beans and the roasting process. Loon's Nest Coffee, located up the Gunflint Trail, but right now, over the fall, winter, and into the early spring, you want to be ordering from the website, loonsnest.coffee. Appreciate Bob and all the support, and my goodness, are we excited for our cardamom roll come next May. The first time Tanya Piatz heard a white-throated sparrow, it changed her life. It was about 12 years ago, the first time she heard the bird. Tanya and her family were on a camping trip along the North Shore at the time. To break up the scene, they decided to head north and travel along the Gunflint Trail, along the edge of the Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness. After driving for well over an hour, they stopped to take a hike. That's when she heard what at that time was an unfamiliar song. The song continued, and it seemed to be singing, "Oh, sweet Canada, Canada." When she heard that song, which was indeed a white-throated sparrow, Tanya says she understood that this part of the world, the Boundary Waters, has its own song, and she wanted to hear more. That summer trip up the Gunflint Trail reshaped Tanya's connection to birding and wildlife. She now camps numerous times at the end of the Gunflint Trail every year. She says she comes to the Boundary Waters for birding and to develop a deeper understanding of the connection between wildlife and the land. She also does this to reconnect to nature and get away from the hustle and bustle of everyday life. She comes to listen to the song of the land, she says, to smell the balsams, and to feel the warmth of granite. The Boundary Waters, and particularly the Gunflint Trail, Tanya says, are locations where she feels the most like herself. For the first time in her birding adventures, Tanya participated in an official bird count this year. The event that she chose was in Grand Marais on December 14th. We met up with Tanya in town not long after she arrived at Grand Marais to learn more about the bird count.
Give me a hug. How are you?
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
I'm just fine. Oh, shit. The fuck are those buttons? Oh, there we go.
Hi.
Okay. So the 2025 Grand Marais Audubon Christmas bird count was a successful one once again this year, with more than a dozen birders seeing a combined 1,400 individual birds across an area from Lake Superior and up toward the Cascade River and then inland toward Devil Track Lake, which is found near the start of the Gunflint Trail. The birders saw 42 different species on the day of the count, and Tanya said the group dynamics were stellar and welcoming, particularly as someone who was visiting from the St. Cloud area where Tanya lives. We followed Tanya into Voyager Brewery in town, where she met with the birders after the count was complete.
Hi, I'm Tanya.
Nice to meet you. I'm Jeremy.
Hi, nice to meet you. Thanks for letting me join you on your bird count, Christmas bird count.
Yeah, we'll take everybody.
Cool.
We need eyeballs.
Yeah, it was, I've actually never been out in that area.
Almost 50 years ago, a group of friends met at a diner and began to organize a movement. They formed a group dedicated to preserving the pristine waters and forests of northeastern Minnesota. Through grassroots organizing, they helped pass the Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness Act, which protected the Boundary Waters for future generations. Today, that organization, Friends of the Boundary Waters continues its work to protect, preserve, and restore this cherished wilderness. Whether it's through fighting toxic mining proposals at the edge of the Boundary Waters or introducing the next generation to the wonders of the BWCA, our strength is in our members. It is in you. To learn more and find out how you can join this community today, please visit friends-bwca.org.
Support for this episode of the podcast comes from Borderland Lodge, inviting listeners to unwind, explore, and create lasting memories against the backdrop of the Boundary Waters. They're offering pet-friendly cabins, lakeside lodge rooms, and cozy weekend dining along the shores of Gunflint Lake. You can find more about Borderland at their website, borderlandlodge.com. Also, check out their Instagram page for some of the incredible Italian pasta meals that Steph is making up at Borderland. Oh my goodness, check it out, Borderland Lodge on Instagram and Facebook, or their website, borderlandlodge.com. The next morning, the day after the official count, the Paddle and Portage Podcast crew traveled about 40 miles up the Gunflint Trail with Tanya to do some additional birding. After parking near a lake about a mile or so off the Gunflint, we started walking. There was snow on the ground, went up over our boots, maybe 4 to 5 inches of new, fresh snow, powdery and light. We easily cruised along toward a lake. It wasn't long before Tanya heard some pine grosbeaks. We stopped and viewed them through the binoculars that she had in her coat pocket. Tanya started taking pictures through her high-powered lens, and that's when we stopped to talk with Tanya as the grosbeaks danced in the nearby trees. And Baxi and I, Joe Fredericks, here on the podcast, enjoyed talking with Tanya about birds, but also about her connection to this place.
I first met you when we were looking at your paintings.
Yeah.
Johnson Heritage Post.
Yeah.
Incredible birds. And now we're out here tromping through the snow, chasing birds.
Yeah.
This is all part of the game for you, the art, the awe and wonder.
Yeah.
How'd this all come to be?
Well, it actually started as a way to hang out with my mom and my dad. We've always gone on like these wildlife drives when I was growing up, where we'd stop at the Dairy Queen and then we'd drive around the country and look for like deer or fox or whatever. And my parents got really into birds, and I was kind of like, they're cool. And I remember one time going through Sherburne National Wildlife Refuge and actually starting to see the birds. Like, it's like, oh, who is that? Oh my gosh, who is this guy? And then that just sparked that curiosity of who I was looking at, because the more I looked, the more differences in the different species that I saw. And I just began to be really curious. So I actually started photographing them so I could identify them later if I was having problems.
Real quick, just for setting, how old are you when you're kind of starting to endeavor into both the early birding and then when you started to photograph them, just for some context of kind of time in life?
Yeah, so that was probably about 10 years ago, so in my mid-30s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it just kind of, I don't know, like piqued my interest. It was just very fascinating. I love being outside, and it was just another reason to get outside. And it's a good way to just take a look at your landscape, really see what's around you, and stop being so in your own head. It helps me personally to like get outside and actually enjoy what we get to see every single day if we just give ourselves those opportunities to stop and watch and really be curious about who we're seeing, why we're seeing them when we see them. And that kind of started then into my conservation. Once I recognized there were some species that were more uncommon to see, and they had those declines. And then I was curious as, well, why are they declining? Like, what are some of the reasons for it? And that's kind of how that whole conservation series started.
And that's where you hear the chickadees?
Yep, black-capped.
Oh, I see them right behind you. Where you're birding, and then your art, and then these paintings that capture the reasons for population decline, being like agriculture and deforestation and habitat loss.
Yeah.
That is all captured in your work, and that all is connected back to this expanding awareness and presence of being in the woods with the birds.
Yeah, and I mean, everything that you are seeing is all connected. There's a reason why you're seeing certain birds in certain areas, because of the habitat that they're offering is great shelter, good food, and being able to understand, why are we seeing so many pine grosbeaks today? They're an eruption species, which means their population will increase and decline depending on food sources. And when they're pushed down into these areas or further south, like Saxon Bog, a place like that, it's typically because they're seeking out food because they've had an eruption year. So that's always really exciting to see those species, because where I'm from in central Minnesota, we don't get to see pine grosbeaks.
Oh, this is a special moment.
Yeah, I love pine grosbeaks. Yeah, they're beautiful. They're really pretty birds. And with the CBC yesterday, the first species that I saw on my route was the pine grosbeak. And I was like, oh, yes, it's going to be an awesome birding day. And it was a good day. But that was about the most, I guess, not exotic, but more specialized species that I saw on my route was the pine grosbeak. But they're beautiful, beautiful birds.
And now we're looking at like 5 or 6 of them.
Yeah. And we're pretty close to them. So I've been able to, get pretty close to a pine grosbeak. And it's exciting to be able to draw them in and really get a good look at them, because they're beautiful birds. And they're bigger than you expect them to be. Yeah, they're pretty big. Yeah.
Especially compared to like a chickadee.
Oh, my God. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like these beautiful little northern parrots. Just very bright. And they just kind of, explode with color when you see them.
Well, we're in this pretty incredible habitat area,
Mm-hmm.
We're regrowth after the Ham Lake fire and tromping around the snow. So why don't we go see what else we can find while we're out here? You got your camera, I got your binocs, and see, Joe Frederick's got lost. We'll find him and we'll keep moving.
After that conversation, we kept walking along the lake shore, looking for more birds. And we found them, including chickadees, a raven, and another group of pine grosbeaks. Tanya said all of those birds were among the different species the birders had identified in the bird count the day before. She was reflecting on the experience once again as we stood near the edge of the BWCA wilderness.
So the Grand Marais bird count, Cook County.
Yeah.
How did that go for you this year?
That was super fun, actually. I drove around County Road 45, Pike Lake, and Northern Pike Lake. When I first got into the road, I saw the pine grosbeak. I saw about 7, and I was super excited. And then from there, I saw a lot of black-capped chickadees, downy, hairy woodpeckers, blue jays. So it was actually a pretty quiet count, other than in town. So Jeremy and his team, they had the most count in town. So they ran into like a group of 150 Bohemian waxwings, which is crazy, and a lot of like rock pigeons and cool things like that. So it was super fun.
Have you ever done any of those birding events before like that that's organized?
No.
Really?
Yeah, it was my first time. I'm usually a lone birder.
Why is that?
I don't know. I just like the opportunity to like get out and get outside of my head and outside of everybody else's heads and just go look for birds. Usually, yeah. I've gone with my mom and my dad a lot. I'll bring them up to Saxon Bog with me. We get up really early in the morning, go check it out. But that's usually about it.
What about up here, the Boundary Waters, that makes this a good birding spot for you or otherwise?
It's just the boreal forest. It's all the different type of species of trees. Allows for a lot of different species of birds.
In 2026, Tanya will be taking her artistic talents out east for a prestigious residency program.
So Roger Torrey Peterson did all these beautiful field guides. He is one of the first artists to illustrate these field guides for people to identify different species of birds, plants, mammals, beautiful artwork. And while I'm there, I'll get to be able to look at his collection and really just be able to feel and see these original pieces. I guess firsthand, which is really exciting. Because always looking at other artists' work, you always get an inspiration on like what you could do better. So the way they shade a shape, or like maybe the way that they add a little texture to a beak or the feet, or it's a great opportunity to learn how to, I guess, evolve your work. And I'm excited to be able to show my pieces with a bunch of people that are really into birds too.
In recent years, Tanya has been illustrating a series called Species of Special Concern. Her art uses the Minnesota DNR's Species of Greatest Conservation Need list to show some of the birds that need help in Minnesota. Some of the 92 birds on the list are many of the northern range species, including the veery, wood thrush, evening grosbeak, the boreal chickadee, the loon, and the purple finch. As a birder and an artist, Tanya says the best thing that we can do to help these birds is to get out, to see them, and hear them, and teach others to recognize them. This way, Tanya says, we can help ensure that we protect the areas they depend on for breeding. It also gives another reason to appreciate the BWCA in a way that we might not otherwise. This was very obvious as Baxi and I were cruising along the lake near the Gunflint Trail, slowly moving through, not thinking about fishing or ice skating or skiing or where the best campsite's going to be. We were simply looking and listening for birds. It was a refreshing way to move through the forest. As we stood on the edge of the wilderness, we saw that birding is what brought the Boundary Waters to the forefront of Tanya's love for birds and her artwork that serves as a form of advocacy. It's the circle of, well, let's head back out to the woods to find out.
Look at this perfect snowflake that landed.
That is perfect. See, that only happens here.
You gotta see this, Shelby.
That's perfect.
It literally looks fake.
Whoa! Wow.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Can't make this shit up.
No. Magic of the Gunflint.
It's a circle.
I'll tell you what it is. It's the circle of life.
And it moves us all. It's a circle. Circle of life. Thank you, Elton.
It was the end of a successful birding day, and then Tanya lost her keys. You want to tell us about this, Tanya?
Absolutely, I do. It's the best part of the story. Yes, I thought I lost my keys. I emptied out my camera bag. I looked in my binocular case. I checked every pocket, but did I? No, I didn't. I didn't check every pocket. But Joe had gotten a gentleman from
Rockwood Mike.
Yes, to go possibly look for my keys where we were looking for birds. And then I was like, I'm going to just look at every pocket again. And then I found the secret pocket right there where the keys are currently stored again.
What did we learn from this end of our adventure today, if anything?
Remember about the secret pocket.
Nice. All right.
Yeah.
Take notes on that, people. Remember the secret pocket.
Yeah.
And thanks, Mike, for being willing to rise up for the greater good.
Thank you.
And don't forget to carry an extra set of keys when you come to the Gunflint Trail.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea, too.